I'm going to start off today's video with something I saw in GameFAQs when researching what the multiplayer element of Nier Automata was. Because I myself knew what it did, but I wanted to see if it went any deeper than that. Not because it was bad, but because I just wanted to see, could it be better? Let's see, I'm going to start this video off right. Is this game multiplayer focused like Toycoden and God Eater? This is a question on GameFAQs. Alright? Brace yourself for this greatness here. It doesn't seem to be, which is a shame, as I would have loved co-op in this game. Just get somebody to control 9S and you're good to go. I agree. Then you have your next guy, Mercenary 12451. Are you fucking kidding me? No multiplayer. Somebody responds, why would it have multiplayer? The next guy goes, go play an MMORPG if you want one. And then somebody tries to be productive, somebody tries to add an element of actual research into the conversation, and they say, it has a form of multiplayer. You can leave messages behind at a place you die, and people can resurrect your corpse to fight for them or take your parts. Think of it as a pay-it-forward kind of multiplayer. It's like, okay, good job there, Evans111. Now, Mercenary comes back and he says, you call that bullshit multiplayer? Fuck that. I just lost all interset in this game. Now, I understand that the guy meant interest, but that's fine. We'll get him through it. Apparently he doesn't know how to spell. It's okay. I'm surprised he knew how to spell mercenary, oddly enough. But not the point. The point I want to talk about today is multiplayer games and how they're really killing your ability to enjoy a single-player experience. That was a really prime example of conversations I've had with real-life people. I sit down and I'm like, when was the last time you played a really good single-player game? Have you played Final Fantasy 15? And they said, oh, well, no, because I play this game. And I said, that's fine, you know. I'm okay with you playing a game in place of this game. But my big one is, have you played this game? And they say, no, I haven't. It's like, well, why not? Well, that's a single-player game. That's fucking boring. If I wanted to play something that was single-player, you know, I would just get another game that had single-player and multiplayer elements. For example, Dark Souls or Demon's Souls, Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3, Bloodborne. Games like that. And I was like, dude, there are games that you can play completely by yourself that are just enjoyable without anybody else to help you. And then comes the argument, well, I play games to play with my friends. You know, I've been playing games my whole life just to play with my buddies. It's a lot of fun. And, you know, I'm not going to discount that. It's a really solid point. It's always great to sit down and actually, you know, play a game with your good buddies. You gather a couple people, you get a few beers, you go, I'm going to play, I don't know. Let's say I wanted to just throw it back all the way to Halo 2, because that was a fucking fun game, even local multiplayer. And you could say, oh, well, let's sit around and drink some beers, play some Halo 2. That's your idea of a fun time? I understand that. It's a lot of fun sometimes. But then they completely miss games that have really solid experiences. Games around that same era, you know, you look at a game like Final Fantasy X is my prime example from a really good RPG. I love that game to death. I'm going to talk about it probably to the day I die, so I'm blue in the face because I just love it so fucking much. But, yeah, I know. Super fanboy status about it. But, when it comes to games that are just single player alone, that's all you can do. People don't even want to look at them anymore. Some of my friends, they just go, oh, well, where's the multiplayer in that? You know, and I say, well, it's not multiplayer. You just play it by yourself. And they go, well, I don't want to play it. But they're missing so many different elements of the game, so many different things that you won't get in a multiplayer game. You know, I've come to realize over time that Overwatch has almost zero soundtrack. It has like, you know, a stage song. It's like, oh, well, this song. And it's like 25 seconds. Lucio has his own music. I guess that's pretty cool. I don't really care for it. I hate the genre, but whatever. And then, you know, you wrap up the whole thing and you have, you've got the menu music. and it's really, really flat and really boring. Oh, and of course, play the game music, which is what everybody waits for. But the music just isn't all that exciting. You know, the characters, they don't matter. You can pick who works for you in the comp, but at the end of the day, there's no synergy there in the sense that they're allies. You know, Tracer and Winston and Mercy, Soldier 76, McCree, they should all be homies. They should be like, you know, let's bump some knuckles, let's kick some ass. I'm not saying there should be a bonus for building a team a very specific way, but I mean, the only thing that you get out of it is a light interaction before the match. And if they hate each other, you know, they'll say something rude. If they like each other, they'll say something nice. But other than that, it really does not matter. You can pretty much pick whoever you'd like as long as it fits the meta, it works well with the comp, and you just steamroll teams. And that's all that you do. But then there are the games where it really does matter who you have in your party, you know? Like, simple example, a really easy game to just pick up, play it for a while, and get addicted to. That's completely by yourself. I love Darkest Dungeon. Darkest Dungeon was a lot of fun. My buddy recommended it to me. He's one of the few people that I have in my life that plays games other than multiplayer online exclusive games. And he was like, hey man, you should check out Darkest Dungeon. It's super stressful. It's an element of the game. It'll be a lot of fun for you. You really enjoy it. And I was like, I'm all for RPGs. I'll give it a go. And I did. I sat down and I started playing it. Then I tried to actually build a team, and I was like, I'm gonna have this chick and she's a healer, and I'm gonna have a knight in the front, and I'm gonna have this thing called the Abomination in the second row. And the game's just like, no, you fucking can't. I was like, well, why not? To which the Vestal, which is the healer, responds, you know, I don't want to work with that Abomination. She's such a holy person. She sees him as just something that's just completely ineligible to work along her ranks. And, you know, that's a limited character interaction. But at least each character shows some kind of spirit to them. You know, they have some kind of morals. They have some ethics where they can say, this is against what I believe in. This is what I'll do. You know, if somebody loses their mind in that game, because that happens a lot, they won't just spout out the same bullshit. They'll say things in regards to who they are as a character, you know. The healer will say stuff like, you know, the light denies you, and she won't heal herself, or she won't heal an ally because she doesn't feel as though they're worthy of it. And this is just a 2D text. You got no actual talking. The characters don't speak. It's all just, I will not heal you. But it makes the game better because you see these elements. And you won't see that kind of thing in a multiplayer game where you just spend all your time just spraying bullets into somebody or trying to cap a point. You know, I used to love playing League of Legends, and something that I very, very frequently do, as you can see here, I'm going to move for your convenience. Those are two TVs. You know, one of them is a computer monitor, one of them is my actual TV. One of those TVs, while I'm playing video games, I'm going to be listening to a YouTube video or watching one. And, you know, the other one is like me playing a game. So I'm doing both at the same time. And while I played League of Legends, I would listen to the lore and be like, oh, well, this is why this character is this way, and this is why this character says these things, and that's really interesting. But where the fuck is that in the game? And you realize that it's not. None of it matters. As I said, with Overwatch, you build your team. If a comp works, it works. And that's it. You're done. You now have the perfect team. You go out there, you steamroll it. It doesn't matter that Lux does not like friggin' Darius, or it doesn't matter that Garen and Darius don't like each other, or Katarina hates anybody from Demacia. You know, it doesn't matter what side of the compass you're on. You know, if you're facing north and you're just true good, or if you're going south and you're just a complete and utter dick. If you're a complete and utter dick, you will work with that other person because you don't have a choice, because you have no character. All of your characters are in backup text that you have to go out of your way to find, or you have to find a YouTuber that will talk about it. You know, he'll just sit down and get on his mic and just be like, well, the other day I took a look into Garen's lore. You know, that's what you do. And that's what I listen to, because I want to know more about these characters and why they are the way that they are. Then I realized that no matter how much time I took looking into the lore, it doesn't matter, because the characters lack depth in their actual interactivity. These are things that you will not see in a multiplayer game. The single-player games are the games where you get to see character depth, you get to see plot. You get to hear soundtracks. You get to see that whole growth of things. You can see, oh, like, even in a game that's semi-multiplayer. Like, I played through Bloodborne, and as I was going through it, I noticed the environment was changing around me. And you can't do that for everybody. You can't make something different for everyone, without mods, of course. You can't just go, okay, well, this area is going to be on fucking fire for you, but it's not going to appear on fire for them because they haven't met that qualification. MMOs can pull it off pretty well, but most of the time, if they're going to separate people, it's through instances and all that stuff. If something's going to be different, not everyone's going to see it. Regardless, you're not going to really be able to do stuff like that. You're not going to be able to pull the Bloodborne, where your central hub is on fucking fire, and then for everybody else, you know, it's not because they haven't gotten that far in the game. You're not going to be able to go Demon Souls. Well, you go back to the equivalent Firelink Shrine in that area, the Nexus, and when you visit it, it's there's a giant like area that's open up to you in the ground, and you can look at it, and it's like, this wasn't here before, and you can explore it. That's boom, right there. You're now final boss fight. Let's fucking go. You won't be able to experience that in a multiplayer game because that's just not how the game works. It wasn't designed to be experienced that way. If you're going to do something, you're going to do it with other people, and it's going to happen the same way every time. You know, I didn't realize that I could actually beat the fucking game until I actually went back after beating False Night Eidolon. I was like, oh, the ground opened up. I'm going to go do this. And you talk to people, and their dialogue changed. And these are things that you will not see in a multiplayer game. Now, I'm not crushing on multiplayer games, because don't get me wrong, I played a lot of Call of Duty back in the day. I still play Overwatch today. I definitely think about playing League of Legends when I don't want to be called a fucking nigger. But when it comes to all of those things, every single one of those games, I enjoy them because it's just fucking, I don't gotta think. I mean, I do. I have to think on my feet to make the game work for me. But I don't have to, like, you know, actually put forth any real, wow, this is fucking something. And I think that's what's really missing in the multiplayer experience. You know, people don't see that anymore. They're not about the, well, this is something. They're more about the, bro, did you see that fucking quad? That quad was sick as fuck, dude. And honestly, there's nothing wrong with that, but I thought that I should take the time out of my day to actually defend the single player experience, you know? And I don't say the single player game. I say single player experience because if it's a single player game with no multiplayer elements, you are fully experiencing that for what it is. You're sitting down and you get to take in every little detail about it. You can explore it as long as you'd like, and you can do whatever you want in it with absolutely zero interruption. So I think I'm gonna, you know, that's gonna conclude my case for the defense of a single player game. But if you guys want to see more videos like this where I just talk about fucking nothing for God knows how long, just let me know. I'll be gladly to get at you. If you have a topic you want me to discuss, or if you want to just talk in the comments, absolutely hit me up in the comments. I'm all for it. And if you have any further input about things that could be better, I'll gladly take it in and I'll take a look at it, you know, see if I can implement it the next time. But for now, this is just one of those things where I just decided I wanted to get in front of my camera and, you know, flap my gums about something that I feel like matters to me individually. And hopefully you guys may or may not. You may see it the same way, you may not, but who's to say? That's pretty much it. Thanks for visiting Ham Hub. And remember, if it ain't ham, it ain't right.